Gareth, trip back to Shrewsbury this weekend. Obviously, your former club. What kind of challenge are you expecting from them this Saturday?
Yeah, it'd be good to get back there. It'd be nice to see some people again. Obviously, I'm expecting being the pantomime villain as football throws up a lot, but that's football. No, it was a good club and enjoyed my time there. And like I say, it was unfortunate that things went the way they did, and I ended up coming here. But I'm loving Gillingham now, and everyone in Shrewsbury will know that I'll give 100% any badges on my chest, and Gillingham's on there now. So it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a good day. And like I say, I know the place. There's some really good people who work at that place, and it'd be nice to see them. But we're going for the points. We want to win the game. Want to get back to winning ways. I think we've had 2 performances there, which probably Crawley could have took something more, but I thought Barnet were just off it a little bit, and I haven't seen that for a while, and we've definitely been on it this week. So the boys have responded really well to a good week's training, and we're looking forward to going up the road. We'll travel tomorrow early, and looking forward to like I say, going back to Crowd Meadow and seeing everyone, but also hopefully can get the points.
Folks, he just come up and he said there was a collective disappointment we couldn't win our home games, but I said to him, on the flip side, it does prove that you're hard to beat as well.
Yeah, we're back on a run, an unbeaten run, which is great. We are hard to beat, and teams that are hard to beat, they are, averagely successful. We need to turn some of our home games into wins. Definitely, I'm not stupid. I want to do that, but if we did manage to win on Saturday, it'd be 2 wins, 2 draws. In the last 4 weeks, which would be very, very good form for anyone in this league. So anyone can beat anyone in this league. It's a really open league, and like I say, our boys have responded well this week with training. But the proof will be in the pudding on Saturday at 3 o'clock, and I'm sure we've got some some things up our sleeve that hopefully will win the game.
Housekeeping. Smudge obviously missed the last game. Colin's not quite ready yet. Ewan not quite ready yet. Is that still the state of play?
Yeah, it's still the state of play with those 3. Yeah, so I think everyone else is about in and around it. So that's great. It's been tough. We've missed a few players. You're saying some names there that would walk into most teams. And not having them as hurt us. With Armani's suspension as well. It's tough sometimes without your mainstay players, but it gives chances and opportunities to other people, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can give me. But it will be a tough Shrewsbury team. They've got very experienced defenders, and obviously John Marquis, who I was, I had a good affinity with John, great player, good leader and captain. Really respected him and what he's done, but. They've changed up quite a bit. I think John's maybe the only survivor from my day in the team at the moment, and so that's a huge change of personnel, and we want to try and take advantage of that.
Yeah, former dual striker, of course, John Marquis. So it'd be good to see him. Yeah. But Gareth, thanks for your time. Ben, all yours.
Gareth, just touching on some of those injuries and not having personnel available, obviously with the suspensions you've had this season as well, I think I make it 7 sort of incidents where guys have had 5 yellows, or you've had those retrospective bans with the mitigating circumstances and whatnot, and the red cards. I mean, how frustrating is that for you that, on top of injuries, you've got all these guys missing games as well? Yeah,
frustrating, definitely. Super committed, which, the bookings are going to happen. The ones that I'm disappointed with is there's probably a caveat to saying if the referees see these on the day, we don't get punished as harshly, and so I'll flip it on there. Maybe we're getting the rough end of the stick, but there is other issues and other reasons why these players have been banned. And obviously they hold their hands up, and Gareth still to this day, he's adamant that he didn't do anything untoward, but obviously the FA thought he did. Armani's held his hands up and said, yeah, sorry, but if the ref sees it, I think it's a red card and a 1-game ban, but retrospectively we've got to accept that. Injury-wise, I think everyone gets injuries. I'm not one to moan about injuries too much. We miss big players. You've got to have a squad big enough to cope with that. MK Dons had it at the start of the season. They had a lot of players out injured, and they probably are a team that you look at going, yeah, they've got all their players fit and they're flying at the moment. And that's what happens in football. I'm not going to look round and start, mumping about like injuries. It's part of the game. I've been in it a long time now, and when your best players are out, look at Rodri at Man City. Your best players are out. Van Dijk missed the season at Liverpool. These are big moments, but you crack on with it. That's what you got to do, and I'll make the best of every day and the most of every minute, and that's what I'm doing with these boys. So the ones who do come in and get opportunities, they've got an opportunity to perform. So yeah, sometimes no rhyme and reason to these injuries, and it's frustrating, but we get on with it.
Picking up cards wise though, you don't mind that too much?
No, picking up cards is part of the game as well. I think the way that I've brought my committed style to the club, I think I certainly got booked a few times, so I can't sit here and say, look, don't get booked, because it's part of the game. The full-blooded, they're in the challenges, they're in the tackles. I think it's even easier to get booked now than it ever was, although the referees are letting a few things go now, which I think is good. It's amazing. You see some of these players screaming, going down, holding the legs. The referee says no foul, and they're up 2 seconds later running after the ball. I like that because I think that there shouldn't be this play acting. There shouldn't be that, And if one of my players does it, I'll be mentioning it to him. I don't like that at all. But yeah, it's quite easy to get booked nowadays. I'm not sure. I probably would have doubled my tally if I played nowadays. But the game's changed. You'd have to change with the game.
And you mentioned your return to Shrewsbury on Saturday, and the fact that you might be the pantomime villain. Are you expecting an interesting atmosphere?
Yeah, of course. It's football. When ex-players go back to ex-clubs to get booed, I watched Real Madrid Liverpool the other day, and Trent Alexander took a great deal of stick, and what he's done for that club is amazing. I was only at Shrewsbury a short time, but they're probably still going to remember that. There was a pretty sharp exit once Gillingham came knocking, and that's my decision. Back down with the family was a big one on that. 6 nights at home rather than 2 nights at home a week is quite a big sway. But also the plans that were in place here, were really exciting for me. So yeah, it happens in football, and like I say, it's hopefully to detract away from the pressure on my players. I don't mind taking it. What I've just been through, I can take most things at the moment. So yeah, I'm ready for it, and hopefully it'll be like I say, very pantomime-ish, because the Shrewsbury fans are a good bunch. They really were. They got behind me. We beat Wrexham, we beat Birmingham. I think we were the only team to do that last year, both at home. And those moments are going to stay with me for a long time. They were brilliant nights. And hopefully the Shrewsbury fans can remember those. And I gave everything, but things happen.
But does that perhaps reflect their strength of feeling about the situation, that they were disappointed to see you go?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they were disappointed to see me go, then it's nice that the job I was doing was respected, and they thought I was doing a decent job. But like I say, there's many factors in it, and there's some I can't talk about. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'm expecting probably a bit of stick on Saturday.
Yeah, like you said, it was a difficult decision.
Very difficult decision.
And in terms of going there and trying to get a result, I know it's obviously nothing to do with your players, and Sam Vokes was sort of saying that, but as you mentioned, if you can take the pressure off them, you're happy to do that?
Yeah, of course, yeah, I'd do that. I'll stand up and stick up for any one of my players. I'd have done it while I was at Shrewsbury, while I was at QPR, while I was at Wickham. I'll certainly do it at Gillingham. I'll stand up and stick up for every one of these players, and if that means that I take the stick and I get it, then great, you get on with your job, boys, and that's football. People might be distracted trying to, do other things, but my boys, I want focused on that game, focused on the pitch. I'll certainly be focused, and you expect it. But no, hopefully we've got enough in the squad to win the game.
And obviously your style, and we talked about being hard to beat. Does that kind of sometimes tend to lean itself towards going on the road and getting results? Yeah,
definitely. I think all my career I've been a decent away manager, and I don't mean that in a flippant way. I think it's part of what we do. I think teams at home have to come out at you, and they want to win. They're at home, and we play a very good system of sometimes destroying and countering that. And Shrewsbury have changed their style slightly, and we've got that. to go and win games probably gone a bit longer, and we've practiced and trained to what we think may come this week, and hopefully we can counter it by some of the good training I've seen this week and some of the good, the good moments and movements in the week. But no, the game's different. We'll go up there, and I think it's going to be a windy, rainy day as well, which isn't going to help. So we're going to have to fight the elements this time of year. You always do, and see what happens.
Just finally from me, on the two Smiths, obviously Andy Smith was missing last week, and then Johnny was on the bench but didn't feature. Is he all good to go now after?
Yeah, Johnny's all right. Yeah, he's a good player at this level. Again, I go back to him being undercooked when he came a little bit. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why we got him. You get Johnny Smith for a decent price because he's probably not as up to speed as he was, at Bristol and Burton and Wigan. He hasn't really played a lot of games, so I think the patient one with Johnny. But definitely part of my plans going forward. Yeah, he's a good lad, and I think he's a threat when he's on the ball. But yeah, we're just going to have to just go with him, building his fitness up, and hopefully we can get the best out of him soon.
And is Andy short term thing?
Yeah, Andy's short term. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, we've got some good centre halves. Travis Akamari's playing out his skin at the moment, knocking on my door for a start, and that's what I want. He's doing really well, so I think it's been good being able to build him up for a couple of months. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing Travis as well.
Cool, thank you.
Cheers.
And Elliot never got a knock as well because he wasn't involved.
No, Elliot's back now. Yeah, he had a knock. He had a knock against Bristol, I think it was. Yeah. Was it Bristol or Crawley? One of them. Yeah, Bristol. Last time we saw him, he got suspended against Crawley, and then was out. Yeah, he just picked up a knock in the game at Bristol. That was why he went off, actually. And he'd run himself into the ground that day. But yeah, Nev's back in the squad, which is great for me.
Is Glenn Morris close?
And Glenn's close. He's out on the grass today doing handling. Yeah, so he's not belting balls yet. But again, like I said last week, really happy with turns at the moment, and I think he's fighting a good case for keeping that shirt.
You mentioned some of the big games, the big results you had at Shrewsbury, Wrexham and Birmingham. Yeah. Both at home. Their home form again is pretty good at the minute, isn't it? They're a good home team on. Yeah, they're good. The fans get behind them well. It's a very proud place. It's a lovely city. When I lived there, it's a beautiful place, and a real sort of different, out the way a little bit, but they definitely get behind the team, and when things are going well, they're the force to be reckoned with. Definitely the fans. So we've got to again do it at any home ground. We've got to go and like Bristol was a real cauldron. When we went there, but we've got to quieten the fans down. They may not quieten on me, but on the players. And I just hope that the boys perform how I know they can perform, because they're a great bunch. They really are, and I love working with these boys, and hopefully we can sort of stop Shrewsbury's home form sort of successful run that they're on. John Marquis might be a key sort of player for them as well. He was great here back in the day when he was on loan. He scored a lot of goals, was very popular. Still got it?
Yes, John still got it. Yeah, so we looked at him when we went there, and I actually made him captain because I thought he would lead the line really well. His attitude was good. He was very experienced. You'd score over 150 goals or something in your career. You don't do that without being a good player. I don't care who you are. And John, he has his knockers sometimes, but I'm a big fan of John. I think his effort and the way he conducts himself and the way he plays is a big plus. And John's definitely going to be a threat if he plays up there.
Scored some big goals for you as well. Scored in those 2 wins against Wrexham.
And he scored in both of those games, yeah. And he was in real good form for me. I think he scored about 8 or 9 goals in sort of 17, 18 games or something like that. Yeah, so really, really in good form for me. And we were really happy with how John was performing.
Your first game was that Birmingham win. You must have thought, hang on, we can do something.
I told them, I said, there's no way we should be where we are on the table, unfortunately there's a lot of damage done before we came in, but yeah, it's football. Like I say, they're really firing now in League Two, and like I say, they started slowly but changed style slightly and picked up a little bit, and I think we've got to respect them in a big way, because one, it's my former club, and I know how big the club is. The chairman's a great guy, and the staff around, and and two, it's a professional football team in League Two. You don't disrespect anyone. You've got to turn up on the day. And I thought last week we turned up. Of course, I'm never going to question the boys' commitment. We just looked a bit off it, and I've addressed that this week. So hopefully we can be more on it this weekend.
If it is a feisty atmosphere, could that suit your players a bit? Now they're this full-blooded party.
Listen, I hope so. It always suited me when I was playing. You know, I love the good atmosphere. You know, and playing some real big derbies and some real big matches. You know, and as being a professional footballer, you relish these moments. You absolutely relish these moments. And like I say, after what I've just been through, and you know, people have had a lot more serious than me. You know, but having open heart surgery at 52, you sort of coming out, perspective is massive, and you think you've got to enjoy every single day and every moment and cherish them, because you know they don't just come round every now and again. They're special times. So special times at Shrewsbury, but we're having some real special times here as well. You know, and I think there's been some good moments already this season, and I don't think we've got going on full speed yet. I think we can be better, but. Just waiting for us to kick in now.
Have you decided where you're going to watch this one from?
Yeah, I think I'll be back in the dugout on Saturday, which is great. I think you know, the heart rate has really calmed down now, and had sort of a little bit of an irregular beat after the operation and that, but thankfully it's been sorted and calmed all down now. So yeah, we'll see. I'm sure Paul Timpson, our physio, will be keeping a close eye on me, but I've told him I'm fine. Look at the players. No, I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel like I was comfortably capable of being that animated guy on the touchline again, and hopefully it might you know, kickstart some of the boys into this run I want to go on. So yeah, we'll see.
Just how much have you missed it being on that touchline, like kicking every ball?
Unbelievably. I was in the back of the stand last week against Barnet, walking on the top tier, and I think the stewards are giving me a look saying, you've got to sit down, even though you're the manager, you still have to sit down, you know. And it was like, it's so, I can't describe it. You just want to be on there. Every cell in your body tingles when things happen, and the emotions that you go through. Listen, I know that we have a stressful job, but it's only as stressful as we make it. There's a lot of people who have stressful jobs. Loads of people have to meet deadlines, and hospital nurses, doctors, people like that. They've all got stressful jobs. We are probably just in the public eye where everyone thinks they can do it better and everyone has an opinion on us, and that's the difference, really. And because of that, you take it really to heart and question yourself, and that's the stress that we go through, you know, and the disappointment or the elation. You just cannot describe it. So being back on the touchline, I think, be nice for me, but I've got a fantastic number two who's deputised there for, you know, a good sort of 7 or 8 games, and you know, I can't thank him and Pete and all the staff enough. You know, they've been great.
Good for Pete's ears as well. You won't have to
Pete's ears and my phone bill. Yeah, so there's 2 things cutting down there. Cheers.
A lot's said about old players going back to their former clubs. What's it like for a manager to go back to his former club?
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, I don't think, which is amazing. I never went back to Wycombe where I started, you know, and you know, obviously QPR days, I'm back to QPR to manage. So this is the first time in what, 650 probably games, nearly, that I've actually gone back to a former club, because there was that many games at Wycombe. So this is the first time, yeah. I've managed against Wycombe when they came to Crowd Meadow, and I've managed against QPR when they came to Wycombe, but I'd never been QPR manager then. So this is the first one, which is going to be crazy. So that question can be answered on Monday probably. Yeah. I know what it's like as a player, and I was lucky enough to have given everything, absolutely everything as a player. I never stopped running, I never stopped working. And I think every club I've been back to, there's been a nice atmosphere, a nice, it's been okay. This one, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm hoping that Shrewsbury fans know that I gave everything. I just couldn't give much more with different issues, you know, and I just have to get up there and see how it is. But I'll give everything for Gillingham, just like I would for Shrewsbury, and that's who I am. I'm 100%. He's just not going to take that out of me.
How frustrating have the 2 home draws been for you?
Yeah, really frustrating, because especially the Crawley game, I think we could have been better. I think there's some games where you're just second best sometimes, and they've got 5 of them a season, and then there'll be 5 where you'll be best, and it's the 36 in between which you've got to be really good in. And I think that the Barnet game was probably one of the ones we're bad in, but we still picked a point up. So the Barnet one for me is probably the worst we've played under me, but we still picked a point up, and I was like, you know what, that's a good sign. You know, the Crawley one, I thought we could have been better. I thought we could have finished better at times, and that was a very open game. But yeah, frustrating that we've dropped 4 points at home, but also quite happy we haven't been beat. This team's hard to beat, and I like that. You know, they've really got a resilience about them, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how far we can go again on a run.
I guess after, as you, in your words, dropping those 4 points, just shows how tight this league is, that you've actually got close to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think we drew a few weeks ago and we went to second from third. You know, it was crazy. You know, so to stay in 7th and stay in the playoffs is psychologically really good. Yeah, very tight league, very tight league, and I don't think it's over yet with the twists and turns. I think there's some teams yet to find their form and come. I think if we can get back to the form when I had majority of the boys fit, you know, in September, August, September, I think we had a real good blend, and yeah, we'll get back there. But just gone through a slight blip at the moment. Absolutely fine. Know what I've got in the room, and know that they're good enough to be successful in League Two.